family laws, domestic relation laws in the state are so complex. The attorneys themselves don't even know what they are.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Little by little, man.
Yeah.
And the attorneys are part of the system. They're part of the game. They
I
know
heard your
how
words.
they work with
Thank you.
judges,
I
they know
feel
how
your
to
pain,
navigate through all this
and I
bullshit
personally
to
support
make
the
the outcome.
cause. I think that this needs to change. And overall needs to change because it seems like the family court is actually
from federal funds
more interested in everything else but uniting families.
Right.
Can you tell us about your experience?
Well, the shortest version of my experience is I'm a fighting dad, almost 5 years, and I was never trying to take my son away from his mom. I was trying for 50-50, and that didn't work. They asked me to do all kind of parenting plans, did all that. Then I went down to 10 days to try to negotiate even more, and they just won't let me have him. And I'm coming from 3 states away. Mom's been running our son all around the northeast coast, 2,000 miles away from Bronxville, New York originally, to Florida, around the Lake Worth, Palm Beach area, filed habeas corpus. So for some of your listeners that have knowledge behind them as far as paralegal and information on the law and stuff, I'm sure they know what that is. Habeas corpus and UCCJA and these articles to try to get him back up here. So finally, after almost a year, what have you, he was. And ultimately, the case ended up here for the visitation custody time on Warburton Avenue in this kangaroo court. Immediately, the judge should have looked at this and considered the UCCJA Article 71, subsection A, which means that the mom could lose all custody just for doing that. I was on the birth certificate from day one, paying for my son handsomely, as well as good health care. And I have everything, for him. I have a beautiful small farm, a great job, everything. Mom never had any of that. But I still didn't, go out to take him away from her. Because it took 2 people to make, the child in my case. We have Senate bills right now in New York that are going for, I forget the numbers, I believe it's 4197 and 4147, like this. One of them is actually for 50-50 right off the bat. The other one is to get rid of the forensic studies, which are useless. All along this way, from around August of 2020 to the present, to the recent recusal of Judge Disgraceful Diabolical Neighbor, Scatteratical Neighbor, which was on the 27th of March last month, and I called them out with the truth. I've had 5 attorneys in this courtroom, from Daniel Clement on Madison Avenue, New York. He was a super attorney. I had Anna Avalone. She was a young, aspiring attorney out of law school. I had Tricia Lindsay. Those were paid attorneys. I had Mr. Bennett Goodman, Lenworth Williams, and 5 attorneys. I posed the question to the public and to this courtroom. You mean to tell me 5 attorneys in this courtroom alone, 9 across all these states, not one attorney out of them 5 in this bum courtroom can get the job done? Are they all that bad? Again, spent almost 200 grand in this, and I'm treated like a criminal. I've had all kind of rights violations. It prompted me to try to get justice now because I have a federal lawsuit. It's out there, public information. I have no choice. They're breaking the law. They're violating civil rights as well as constitutional rights, and just can't get any justice for our son. And I'm in a book on it for your viewers if you want to go there. Author and artist and musician Marianne Petrie. The title of the book is Raised by These Wolves. I'm story number 9, and book 2 is set to come out in a few months. And it explains about 25 or 26 targeted parents which are going through this and disgusting system, and it's out there. It's out there on Amazon, and we need change. We need reform for our children.
We definitely need change. Now, you just mentioned before that there is a lawsuit going on against the...
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Are you able? Can you speak on that?
I can briefly speak on it. I can't get into details because I have recently filed it and whatnot. and all the individuals, are being served. However, in this federal lawsuit, it goes over basically what's happened to all these parents up here. And of course, courtrooms, family court across the nation, this is the same playbook. This is the same playbook. There are 4 major countries that are doing this on the same playbook. America, Canada, Australia, the UK, England. Those 4 major countries are making trillions of dollars off the backs of abusing our children. America, from my understanding, makes over $100 billion a year in this. Now, it's not a mom only or a dad only thing. This is affecting all parents targeted. We are targeted parents with the same playbook. So the lawsuit is going to bring justice. It's going to bring justice.
Now,
excuse me, let me just pull up. If you could pause.
Now, this is with live streaming it.
Okay, great.
So go and come back.
So basically, like as I was saying, it's affecting both moms and dads, and we have to demand our rights. I'm here and representing my rights and my son's rights. I'm here from the great state of Pennsylvania, and I bring this Gadsden flag, which states was used during the Revolution. Don't tread on me, because they are violating our rights. They are violating our rights. Of course, the wind isn't cooperating with me, but you get the idea. Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's where we're at.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think it's this particular judge or it's the system that needs an overhaul?
It's the judges and the system and the politicians and the supervising judges, like supervising Judge Minihan. My team and I, we have done what's called misconduct reports, which is basically on their website. I had a 22-page report, and however, almost a year later, they find no misconduct yet. I've been discriminated against. I've been, called things on the transcript that, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, the whole thing needs an overhaul. It's not just here. But unfortunately, this particular judge in my case, she's a man-hater. It is very biased in this case. It's not at all. I know I'm an advocate. I have a podcast. I speak to many moms and dads around the country and including the UK. And we're all going through this. We're all going through this. This is judicial abuse, judicial tyranny, and judicial misconduct. And she's going to be held judicially accountable for it.
When was the last time you saw your little boy?
I had my son approximately 5.5, 6 days this past Christmas. And then all of a sudden, a short order was put out by Judge Neighbor. No contact, a short order, no contact virtually or in person. Why, Judge? Why? She wouldn't even answer me. I demanded to know in writing. They won't even tell you.
When your little boy was with you, does he ask questions? Or he's too little to understand?
He's too little to understand. I mean, and I don't really go there with it like that. Again, like I said,
you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's because it's not about really, like him as far as like trying to, talk about the case and whatnot. That's for here. That's for the courts, to do. But they're not doing their job. And the supervising judges and the politicians aren't holding them accountable.
Man, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
I feel your stress. I feel your pain. And I support you 100%.
Thank you.
I do agree. I'm a dad.
Right.
I went through this before.
Yeah.
So this is something that I personally can connect to. And I wish you the best.
Understood. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Hi, Ruth. How are you?
Doing, young lady?
How you been?
I'm okay. You want to tell us about your struggle? What you think the problem is? Is it the system? Is it a judge? Anything you would like to tell us?
Well, this is a worldwide issue that's going on with the family court system. Yonkers being the third largest city in New York, I'm hoping that we're able to take a lead in making a change in the family court reform. The family court is an issue that's affecting many families. The family dynamic is no longer protected. It's divided by many individuals that work in the court system. Children that are removed from their parents, the courts gain money off of that. Everybody gets a piece of the pie that works in the court system. CPS is a problem. So I think that what we're trying to do here today is just bring awareness and just give parents the opportunity that have been through similar situations just to speak up and raise their voice against the courts.
Now, lots of people might think that this is more like a gender incline.
I think that this is a genderless issue. I think that this can happen.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that this can happen to anyone. I think that this is really an issue of a good parent versus bad parent sometimes. But again, you never know what's going to be the outcome because the power really lies in the judge. You have a lot of judges that aren't educated in domestic violence. You have a lot of judges that aren't educated or aware of child abuse and how to detect child abuse. They rely on psychologists and the attorney for the children who can manipulate and say whatever they want depending on how they feel about you. And that's an issue. So I think that the issue, there is a bias, but I don't think that it relies on gender. I think that this all falls down to money.
Now, I know you for a few years, and I know about your problems.
Right.
Superficially. Now, this particular judge that here behind me,
right.
What do you think is the unfairness from her specifically in connection with you?
My concern with the judge that was on my case was she wasn't supposed to be on my case. I knew her from previous situations where she would come to some of my community events. As you know, I've been working in the community for a while. And just, my issue was more of how she handled the situation overall. There was no fairness in her court. She even admitted to being biased in the court session. So her history of just being a judge that breaks up families, this is her reputation. Her colleagues know this. This is her reputation of just being a person who breaks up families. And what needs to happen in the courtrooms is a 50-50 shared parenting plan where there's fairness. If there's a child abuse case, sorry about the noise in the background, but if there is a child abuse case, that should be seen in criminal court. It shouldn't be seen in family court. It's a criminal charge to hurt a child, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's physical abuse or emotional abuse. It is a crime to hurt a child. It should not be seen in family court.
And how's your child doing?
She's growing. She's beautiful. She's big. You know, I try to be the best parent I can with the situation.
As a mom?
She's way more, way more prettier than me. Way more smarter than I am.
Look, I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Let me tell you, I support you. I support this cause. I've been there. My kids are all grown up, and I've been there. So I understand the fairness of our legal system.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want fairness and we want justice because at the end of the day, these kids are our future. And if they grow up in this emotional distress and these issues where we can't solve these type of problems as parents, we're not looking at a bright future. We're looking at a depressing future. We're looking at a sad future for these kids. And I think that that's what it really falls down to, just worrying about the well-being of the children.
Well, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Stop the abuses in family court. 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 Stop the abuses in family court.
Talk about it to me like it was.
Stop the abuses